Today we're going to discuss the pros and cons of living down on Fort Myers Beach. So if you are considering the thought of either buying a place to live in or live in part-time or rent, we're going to go over the pros and cons of living on Fort Myers Beach. My name's Chris Glaser, and I'm your boat captain realtor down here in Southwest Florida. Been living down here for over 18 years, so if you would like to make a move, whether it's 9 days or 90 days, let me know. I'd be happy to help. So if this is your first time on our channel and you would like to learn more about pros and cons or just living on Fort Myers Beach, click that subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner. We do videos every week, and we try to make them as informative as we can for you. So click that subscribe button. And if you stick around to the end of this video, I'm going to share a hidden gem, a place that the locals like to go to. So stick around to the end of this video and we'll share a fun little place here on Fort Myers Beach. So today we're going to discuss the pros and cons of living on Fort Myers Beach. We're down here over at Matanzas on the bay. Great little motel, as well as got a nice restaurant as well. It's called Petey's Upper Deck. Super pizza. Gotta love their pizza. So I'm going to start with the pros of living on Fort Myers Beach. A lot of it, a lot of folks, number one is just the beach lifestyle. One of the big reasons why people want to relocate to these southern states, especially Florida, is you can live this kind of lifestyle every day. I mean, it's year round, so you don't have to concern yourself with snow. You got super nice sandy beaches. It's just a beautiful place to spend your time, whether it's summer, winter. It can get a little warm during the summer. We'll discuss that in the cons section, but as far as pros go, beachfront lifestyle is a big one. Number two is just the water. I call it the waterfront lifestyle. Water activities. I'm a U.S. Coast Guard charter captain. I have my merchant mariner's credential. So one of the big draws for me personally when I moved down here 18 years ago was not having to winterize my boat. Couldn't stand having to winterize. Every year, September would come around and I'd already be thinking, oh my God, I got to put the boat away for the summer. And essentially go 6 months without being able to enjoy the water. And now that I've been here, that's a thing of the past. And a lot of my friends that have moved down here, same thing. They don't have to worry about winterizing their boat. Plus, the sightseeing is just fantastic. I mean, you've got manatees, dolphins, all kinds of wildlife. If you're a fisherman, you can do onshore and offshore fishing, all kinds of different species. Everything from grouper to snook. So water activities is a huge draw. Number three on the pros is just the weather. Um, you've got no harsh winters to really worry about. It's beautiful year round. I mean, we do have a few months where it can get a little warm for some folks, but you know, it's nothing compared to the 10 below Januaries I used to have to deal with when I lived in the Midwest. So the year round weather is just a huge draw for folks. Um, just to give you an idea, like the average temperature in January in Fort Myers is 74 degrees. So that's not too bad. Although when you've lived here for a while, what tends to happen is I always call it being floratized. Uh, it gets down below 80 degrees, and all of a sudden you have to grab a jacket everywhere you go. So one nice thing, one of the big pros, in my opinion, is definitely the weather. One of the other big pros living down here is vacation rentals. If you're looking for a opportunity to not only use your property for yourself, but when you're not using it, rent it out and have somebody else help pay for it. It's very lucrative on the beach, and it's just really a matter of what you're looking for as far as you know price ranges. And you can find. I mean, I've seen properties as low as depending on obviously where it's located, or whether you want to be on the water or not. As low as 500,000. Up into the you know tens of millions in some cases. But again, there's a little bit of something for everybody down here. So if you do buy something, you can always look at what are the rental options. Number five on the pros is just the nightlife and entertainment. There's a lot going on down here all the time. I mean, there's different music festivals. There's Shrimp Fest. Um, they've got just a huge boat parade that they do down here on the water every year, a couple weeks prior to Christmas. Um, you want bands, some great places to just listen to music and hang out. And the beauty of it is you can be outside year round. Again, you don't have to be stuck inside worrying about how cold am I going to get if I have to just walk to the car. So definitely, the bars, the nightlife, festivals are a huge draw. Another big one is just nature in general down here. Fort Myers Beach. I've got, like I mentioned earlier, my captain's license, and I've done charters for my clients, uh, taking them out sightseeing. Got to see dolphins, jumping behind the boat. We've had manatees, just families of them, um, you know, swimming by some of the beaches that we hang out at. Um, it's just a beautiful place. If you're an outdoors person, you can rent a kayak, or if you have a property that has water access, you know, go kayaking, take your boat out. Wildlife is it's beautiful, really beautiful thing down here. So last but not least, as far as the pros go, the nice thing is everything down here is so close. It's not a huge island. You got about 6 miles from one end to the other, and the walkability. Just being able to walk from one side of the beach to the other. If you want to walk from the bay side over to the beach side, there's a lot of different shops, little boutique kind of shops, as well as restaurants, bars. There's always somebody who's got live music going. But if you have a place down here or renting a place down here, usually you're within walking distance of something, or a short bike ride. It's really not too far. So, last but not least, I say walkability is a huge pro. So now it's time to talk about the cons of living on Fort Myers Beach. We're going to start with the H word, hurricane. There's always going to be a risk of storms down here, and believe me, we've had a few over the last few years that have caused a lot of havoc. But what we have noticed too is that they have been rebuilding, and we are definitely seeing a resurgence of activity here on the island since Hurricane Ian. That was the big storm. But there's always going to be that risk of hurricanes, and if you don't have the stomach for that sort of thing, well then living on the beach may not be the best option, or owning a property on the beach may not be the best option. Might be better off trying to find something inland. Number two on the island is crowds. That's a con sometimes for some folks, tourists. And you just find that, especially during our busy season, which is um, you know usually from December through April, but those are the times where you're gonna definitely have a lot of folks down here, and not everybody's cut out for it. Not everybody necessarily wants to be where there's a bunch of crowds. Now during the summer, it's not so bad. We do like coming down here quite a bit during the summer because not only will you find, less people, but usually the restaurants and bars are going to have better deals. So number three on the cons is, you're going to find a lot of folks, will look at Fort Myers Beach and say, boy, it's just not very affordable. And it is expensive. Um, one of the things that drive up that cost is uh, insurance. So you know, Fort Myers Beach is one big uh, barrier island, and you know, you don't really find. I mean, I think the highest area that you can find on the island is about 8 foot. So it's not like when if a big storm was to come, there's always that risk of flooding. So you'll notice a lot of the houses that are down here are on stilts or have been elevated in one way, shape, or form. So just keep in mind that insurance can be quite costly. Now there are some folks that will self-insure their properties, so if they've got the money set aside and they do need to make any fixes after a storm, hopefully they've got the funds to make that happen. Number four on the cons, and we kind of touched on this a little bit, but traffic. Traffic can be really really a pain in the butt down here. They've redone the road, the main road, Sierra Boulevard, through from one end of the island to the other, and added turn lanes. But that still doesn't solve a lot of the problems when it comes to things like parking and just getting down here sometimes. Now, our house is actually at Cape Coral, and on a busy day during season, it may take an hour and a half to get down to Fort Myers Beach. Whereas if there was no traffic at all, it's about a 30-minute drive. So traffic can be a bit of a pain. So if you're not a big fan of traffic, that's definitely a con if you're living on the island. Number five, you know, you get a lot of salty air down here, so you get a lot of corrosion on everything, whether it's your car, your boat, appliances. Um, just the corrosion of all the salt air can be a bit of a problem sometimes. So just keep in mind that you may have just try to keep things a little cleaner, wipe down. But that salt air seems to get into everything, so it can get a little salty. Number six, as far as cons go, is healthcare, and it's not something everybody thinks about sometimes. But there's no hospitals right here on the island. There is Health Park, which isn't too far, but if you are in need of some regular doctor's visits or healthcare in general, and you don't want to have to drive. It takes a little while sometimes to get on and off the island. So if it's something that you have to do on a regular basis, just keep that in mind that there's not a hospital on the island, so it might take you a little while to get to the doctor and back. And last but not least, the seventh con, in my opinion, is we do get a lot of businesses that during the off season, either they shut down or they shorten their hours. So, you may not have as many things that you can do. Uh, say August, September, October, those 3 months are probably slowest months on the island. So you might find that your favorite place during season when everybody's down here, isn't open, and they just can't afford to be open because there's just not enough people to keep that business up and flying. Now, most of them, for the most part, will stay open, and they budget, for off season. But there may be some boutique type stores that want to leverage you know the season, and it's just not cost effective for them to be open during the off season. So that would be the last pro, or excuse me, the last not the last pro, but the last con of living down here on Fort Myers Beach. So our little hidden gem today is Petey's Upper Deck. It's a fun little sports bar. pizza place, but they do serve fish sandwiches. Got a really nice menu. If you want burgers, if you're not a seafood person, they got a great burger. Um, it is right on Matanzas Bay, kind of across, right next to the bridge crossing over to the island. So the next time you're on Fort Myers Beach, why don't you come down and check out Petey's Upper Deck. Thanks again for checking out our video on the pros and cons of living down here on Fort Myers Beach. If you'd like to see more of these type of videos, click the subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner. We'll get those out to you. We do them every week. Captain Chris, we are checking out.